So we won this deal, right? So people can hear it from your words instead of my words. Just talk through a little bit. We don't need notes or anything, just from memory, right? Just how this thing shook out to end up here at 133 essentially. I think it was still listed like 150 or 150 plus. It was 160 throughout the year. But just
Right.
talk through how this thing played out.
I kept bidding on it almost every single time it came around. Yeah, the bank just would not budge. They wouldn't even negotiate.
Remember the
So
count?
that was,
Not to interrupt you, sorry. Do you remember what the count was? Was it like 7 or 8 times?
oh, no more than that.
Yeah, more than that.
I didn't give it. It was more like a dozen or more times I've bid on it. Quite close to maybe 20 times.
Yeah,
I just,
which is important to know, right? But and what was it to bid again? It comes back on, you wait a little bit, you place the bid, they want more, they're not going to get it, and you do it again, right? And that was
right. And then a couple times they came back with do our highest and best, and we conversed about highest and best. And so I put those in, and then they come back and say no, because it ended up our highest and best before was 126, and that's what I had done. So yeah, when they did this time, after they had lowered the price a little bit on the MLS listing, they had lowered the price. And that I did a couple bids on that one, didn't win. It had gone pending right before this one and come back on the market. So I don't know what happened the last time, but I saw it come back on and I bid on it and then won. And then they wanted my highest offer. So I just upped it from, I think it's like 125 to 127 and they bid. So,
And did we have any, and we talked about this, right? There was really no reason to just pay more because they asked us to, even though
right.
even though we said you could lose it, but there were conditions. We're just like, no, this is our number. It's our number. So can you appreciate the discipline of when the highest number we're comfortable with is the highest number we're comfortable with? That's the highest number. A little bit
Mm-hmm.
of movement, a little bit of movement, couple grand maybe, but we weren't like, oh yeah, we'll go to 145 or something crazy. There's no need to do that.
Because that would throw our numbers way out of whack.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited about this, that we've got some space, and I want to provide a couple other details too that I think we were using to factor in, but include the part where the agent. So how helpful, you saw this house, we want to start bidding. How helpful is the agent on getting some of the ARV and condition assessment done?
She was really helpful. She's quite knowledgeable. She's the one who told me this one was located just outside the city limits. So taxes are less, which was a good thing. And I know that does mean, I think it means it is on sewer. I can't remember. I'd have to double
Mhm.
check with her again. But she was really good about walking through it, pointing out things that she saw, giving some input of what she thinks we should do as far as, you know, updating the property and stuff. Not a whole lot, which is really nice.
Mhm.
And I would definitely alter the entry to the house just to make it pop a little bit and make it more appealing. And she said she would probably replace those front windows. I'm going because they had like water stains and stuff on them. Going, water stains can be cleaned up. So if they can stay, if not, I guess they would probably get replaced.
Budget there's a fair amount we can do for, for 25 grand. And I'll go ahead and show some of the photos we had to work with here that look like this, right? So we've got a whole host of these. We've got a very open, I love
Mm-hmm.
that beam and fireplace. We're gonna hope that floor is okay. Looks like there's some wear and stuff. We'll have to see what we can do with that. But I love that beam. I love that it's open. There was just a lot to like in here.
Right.
In the
The
kitchen,
kitchen's nice layout.
we've got some countertops we can use. Figure out some knobs and so forth. I'm not sure I like the backsplash. We'll figure that out, right? But we'll see. What's interesting over here, I thought, was like typically you're not going past the cabinet, but because the countertop did. Anyway, so there's a couple things to figure out with this. But this is, I think one of my initial comments on this might have been that it was too nice because we don't often get something that doesn't have holes in the wall and other things going on. So we're gonna get in there and see, of course, because again, this floor is gonna be a big one. But this bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't do that back in the bathroom, but it's already there. So pretty nice.
Yeah,
Now,
it's one of those walk-in shower things that doesn't have a door, so but it's contained.
yeah, it might even be back there, but people, it's either there's usually a glass door that goes there, or just it doesn't matter because it's tile over here anyway. So we'll see. That's easy to fix. Easy to fix. I was happy with that. Now, I've been a little shy on Texas lately just because of the inventory. So I've been scrutinizing where we are in Texas. I know you've been shopping there because we have a couple there. But when I went over and checked, when we were doing the bidding, I went over and checked the zip code, and I was pretty happy to see the increase here on both sales and sales price, which is unique for Texas because as a state, it's not doing this. It's not doing this. So
That's why I was really excited about that one in Houston, because I'm going, that's a good market. It's still a strong market in Houston.
yeah, again, depending on where you are, but yeah, it's good to know, right? It's really good to know. So we don't
So
need
where do you look up this data at?
yeah, so we're implementing this recently, right? So when you Google real estate trend zip code, there's several options, and we're if I just in the video today, Linda, I was like, hey guys, let's start doing this on places we're not quite sure about, or let's just be sure. Let's see where the median is and what the sales are doing, because we would love at least stable, if not increasing. Stable, if not increasing. So that's what we want to take a peek at. Now I want you to give me that's okay. Yeah, it's a good it's a handy tool to see. So I like this locale in Texas in particular because that's what makes our ARV number pretty strong. Looking at these comps, we feel pretty confident with that 245 because we're in a pretty good demand place here. So I feel really good about that ARV. We'll make sure we can get that thing done at 25, but we got room. Even if it's 30, we still got some room because we'd go to 70. And so I think we've got some room on both sides. So I'm just real excited about this. Excited to have it. It's just getting them through. As you've seen on some other ones, getting it bought's one thing, but getting it done and fixed is another, right? Those are two different things. So it's
Right. And unfortunately,
process,
some of those other
right?
ones were more
We'll
involved.
talk about we'll talk about those for sure and what the throughput looks like because there's some challenges there. But getting it bought, how are you feeling about the bidding process now that you've done this a little bit and you're on this one? How are you feeling about the bidding process on just your routines? Do you feel like your routines are getting better in your schedule? What you look for, deciding yes or no? Like how's that coming together now that you've getting some routines down? How are you feeling about that?
It's getting a lot more comfortable,
And faster, hopefully.
faster. I can look at something and just go, no, no, numbers don't work on that one. And other ones are going, okay, yeah, that one's worth pursuing and looking further into. And so then I do, and then I start reaching out to agents and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've learned to disqualify a lot of properties pretty much off the bat, just because the numbers just don't work.
And when in doubt, you can always ask me to make sure, right? Because we don't want to eliminate things that maybe I would still do. But that's what I'm there for, is to ask for sure in case you're ruling stuff out that's not. So I'm always a resource. But as you're getting that eye for it, you're getting more and more confident that, yeah, Corey would rule that out and not spend time
Well,
there.
so do one of these profit analysis things and break down and just shoot it by you and just say, what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what the one-on-one's for, is to make
Okay.
sure I'm narrowing, because you don't want to be more narrow than me, or you're inadvertently, arbitrarily being more narrow than you need to be, right? Definitely do that. But I'm glad to hear you say, because people don't necessarily believe me until they're doing it, right? Like it's hard and awkward. And you're just affirming that it's a lot less awkward and slow now because you just have an eye for it and just things are decided in your mind, automatic calculation, rather than all the steps to get it done. And so every step is faster. We kept bidding and bidding, which is just to follow up. But we got in there and got this done and feel pretty good about it. And which we feel pretty good. So we're going to validate now. We're going to validate, but there don't appear to be any deal killers in here. So we'll have another high five when we actually close on it. But it's
Right.
great contract. But what I want to boil down here is, are you feeling like the question in your mind of, can I spend time here doing these consistent actions, and there will be properties that get won at the right price without the marketing and cold call apparatus? Because that's the comfort we want to get to, of feeling like, yes, I know how to do this and who to call, and everything's smoother and better that fits inside my work life to get $50,000 deals.
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling like we've arrived there at this ability to know how to continue doing this? Yes, you get some of my help and affirmation, but are you feeling like the tangibility is real as opposed to a maybe on the acquisition?
That part I'm a lot more comfortable with. I'm getting good at estimating rehab numbers, what it might take. And then like this one, unlike the one in Houston, where I threw in a bunch of extra fees just because there were some unknowns. So I just, okay, that's an unknown. Let's just throw $5,000 extra in there because we don't know what we might run into. So yeah, I'm getting pretty good at like the actual figures and stuff like that. So that's getting more comfortable. Where before it's scary, like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's the affirmation of what details matter and which ones don't. Is that how you would characterize that too? Even deciding what does comfortable feel like to make a decision is so unknown. You don't know when you have enough to make a decision. That's what keeps everybody paralyzed all the time, is they never think they have enough information to make a good decision or how to validate it after they win. And you've recognized there's things we validate before contract and things we validate after contract, right?
And I've learned from these past wins really what to dive into. Make sure the foundation's good. Make sure that there's the condition of there's water intrusion in the basement. There's leaks they can physically see. The big items, the roof, does all the big items that could really kill the budget.
I like it when you say it because so many people that just want to press a button and hope money falls out, they don't understand there's some nuance and some nuance. And that's, I think I'm echoing what you're saying, that until you do it, do you see any other way you could have got to this point of understanding what nuances matter and what doesn't, just watching videos?
No.
Can you
not
imagine?
not until we got into some of these properties going, oh, that's an issue. I need to make sure I ask agents about that issue each time now.
And even that aside, let's just even just the decision on what's a bid and how much should we bid, and is the agent giving me enough or not, and do I stick to my price or offer more when the bank wants more? Like there just can't be enough video in all that. You just
Right.
house versus that house. Could you? It's just hard to imagine ever having enough video getting you good at that.
It's all been a big learning curve.
Yeah, yeah. So just getting those details.
Yeah, it's just by experience.
By experience, and hopefully an experiential way that doesn't cost you. And so far, we've got acquisitions, and you're not at financial risk on the houses. Now, if you were relying on a model that required you to have funding, could you have won any houses?
No.
So are you affirming that it's a pretty cool situation to be winning and getting that done without having to have the money to actually buy something and get it to profit?
Well, and I really appreciate that you can cover my earnest monies because I don't have the money once I did the first one. It's just like until we close things, I don't have the cash flow to have that money available. So I'm grateful that you or the other students or whoever you get the money from for earnest monies.
And now but here's what I want you to take away from that. So you're affirming that you can learn and do and win money, contracts, and houses. We own houses together now, right? Mm-hmm. And you didn't have to have the money in financing, but you had to have somebody who does. And that's what trips up so many people. I don't have the money, I can't find. With the right person, you can learn that and get good at that, which you have been. And the rest gets learned second. It has to be second. The funding and expertise to fix something, go to profit, to do one all by yourself has to come after you get good at actually making the right bids and getting the win. And that's what you're involved in now, but that's what you're discovering. And that's where we are. You got more to learn on the back end, but you're like a top 3% investor right now on the front end because you know exactly what to do to offer the right price at the right repair to get the right ARV repair to get the right price. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. So few people get there, Linda. That's what's so amazing now is that you can do that and create value so that people can still come on and do money and expertise until you learn that part too. And then guess what? Then you don't need anybody because the whole 53,000 is yours because you just do it. Okay. But that always comes next. But I just like decoupling that because people put them together and they're really not together. They need to be independent. It's too much to learn at the same time.
And a lot of times I have fun with it. I just start going, this is fun looking at houses and trying to do the back end evaluating on it. You do it a few times, it's talking to them. Yeah. I mean, picking their brain and having some agents are really hard to deal with though. They're just like, no, I don't want to help you. So next.
But do you feel like it's a reasonable amount of effort to have a conversation where they feel like they're going to have a chance. Now, they can decide whatever chance it is to win. We're not promising a win. They get to decide that, but we're trying to give them as much information as possible. I think it's fair that we give them as much information of the situation as possible and who we are, what we do, so they can decide, are the odds of winning enough for them to contribute? Do you feel like that's the fair conversation we're having with an agent?
Right. And they don't have to do that much work to earn their commission.
Yeah,
They
but
really
are we promising them a commission? Did we promise this agent we're going to win this and give them a commission?
no.
No. So she decided, I'm going to give X amount of work for the odds in her mind that she thinks we may win on a good offer, and maybe she'll get paid. And guess what? She's going to get paid. She's going to listing, isn't she?
They should be listening on the back end. Yeah.
Is she super happy that she helped
Yes.
with this to be involved because she gave a little bit of time and she's going to get paid? Not a guarantee, but she got to decide in all of her lead flow efforts where we fit into her amount of effort she's willing to spend for a lead. And that's what I love about this, is that she's going to get paid.
And she said, because after so many bids, I stopped communicating with her that I'm placing a bid this time. And then to win this one out of the blue, she had gotten notified by the bank to, the contract had been approved, or the bid had been approved, because she's the agent on it. And she said, what? After all this time? So yeah, she just sat in the background and I just kept bidding. So yeah.
Yep.
So she's happy.
So your skills got faster and smoother by doing it. You got an eye for it. So everything got faster and better. Money comes. Some agents were a good lead to them, and some agents were not a good lead to them, but it's not a problem. I think you would say it's a reasonable effort to get an agent that's helpful to do bids, right? That's not this huge mountain to climb, right? Just a normal, you got to call a couple, right?
Right.
And consistent action, and you work, right? You have a job. This is like time at this, right? So it fits in your schedule. Do you like the flexibility of how to do this kind of around your schedule?
Yes. Yeah. When I was first doing it, I was putting so much time into it because I just kept looking at all the houses that were up there for bid, and as much time as I had available, and I was like, oh, I just put my housework aside, put my hard work aside. I just did this, and I don't like. I even felt guilty sometimes when I leave to go to the grocery store. Okay, I need to balance everything out. And so now if I'm looking at houses and I'm going, I'm just getting tired. I don't want to look at houses anymore. I just, okay, done, quit. Yeah.
And would you agree that's why I start out saying a few hours a week? Good balance, consistency, you get better. I feel like that's easier and better than flurry and nothing, or nothing and eventually, like neither one of those really worked that well, but just I'm learning, getting better, and contracts come. Is that a fair affirmation of my initial statement about a few hours a week should be enough to get some evaluations done and some bids made and some wins? Do you think I'm being accurate to say that?
Especially as I'm getting better at just looking at the property and going, okay, that one's worth looking into further. And then I do my Zillow process on that, seeing if the value is actually there as far as the back end. And then, okay, what would it take? And then just writing numbers, and no, that's not going to work. Or going, yeah, okay, let me look into that further and see what an agent thinks, and then just pursue from there. So either yes, I think so, or no, I don't, and go on to the next. And
yeah. All from a comfort of your home with a web browser, Wi-Fi, and phone, right? Like computer, laptop. Remind me what you were doing before this. Did we just start together because you're interested in real estate?
Yeah, I had tried the gamut of a lot of different things as far as like doing wholesaling, that kind of stuff, and just trying to find something that was going to work. And none of them worked. And then and I have a real estate license here in Oregon. And then I do work part-time, and so that's
let me say this to you then. Let's see. Tell me if this is a fair statement. I've been saying lately, all of the models or ways to buy a house from homeowners, bank, whatever, they all work, meaning they're contractually legal, and I've done them many times. Most of them out there, the many times that they work. The real question is, how much resource and time doing it to get a result, right? You could say, this is a great shovel, but if it takes 35 times longer to get something out of the ground, it works. It just, man, there's a lot of time there. right?
Right.
Or if you, yes, marketing and cold calling works if you're going to spend $4,000 or 4,000 calls. Like that's the machine works, but only if you have at least a gallon of gas in it, not a pint. So the resources and time you have to use the tool or operate the tool is really the distinction among what's going on. I want the least amount of resources and time to get a reward than any other model because it's that. So am I making a fair and accurate statement to say researching, getting better, of course, where you are now, not where you started because everybody's slow at first, right? But where you are now, am I making a fair statement when I say the time and resource, financially and time, is the least amount here to all that stuff you tried that proved to be a lot more time and money to try to get a result? Is that a fair statement?
Oh, absolutely. I had been out there in the market. I've tried a dozen different things that were all time and effort, money, and resources, and it just ate up everything I had. And yeah. So when I found you, it's like, this is so much easier, so much less stressful. It's just, and it's working.
Am I asking you to badger any homeowners all day with call centers?
which I hate.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
And now, did I ask you to buy software and get CRM systems and build an entire follow-up apparatus?
Yeah, that costs money and time to follow up on.
Yeah, what are we using? A free
No.
Google Sheet, right? A free Google Sheet, and I pay for a Slack seat to just interact together, right? A little bit on the bids. So it's just the purest form of web browse, get double checked, and get better in doing it. And so that's the comfort I want you to have. That the most amazing thing for you, Linda, is that you've got the bidding down to get contracts at the right price. Okay, you've got that down. You are a seasoned real estate investor to get these on a source that does not require you to go outspend and outcall everyone else to get a deal. You've just got to be among the least competition. Remember, I say these sites have the least competition because guess what?
Mhm.
People think it's cash only. Is it cash only, or have you seen us use loans every time? Loans every time, a private money loan.
Loans every time, yeah.
It's loans, right? And are we closing quickly, or do we close 30 days? Like this, we're going to have to do an extension on this one, right? But it's not 5 days closing, right? So it's just these
No.
have known.
No, you got to get all your ducks in a row, and everything else just like a normal escrow.
And now guess what you know now? Opening bids change. You know you can bid 10 times. Like all would you have known all those things if you just showed up at auction.com or Hubzu and just read the material? Did they say any of those things in their material?
Oh, heck no.
Heck no, right? So I also reiterate that's why there's so much less competition on these. Are we getting a result or not? And right now I think you're pretty comfortable with that work reward ratio. Pretty happy with that, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's nice when and I talk to an agent and they go on, have you done anything? I'm going, actually, I've got 4 houses this year. And they're like, oh, okay. So they're going, you're not some like novice person who's just like testing the water, dip my toes in, going make a phone call to them, trying to see if they'll help me. I'm enjoying the process. It's been, yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
Definitely. You have a fantastic day.
Thank you so much.
Okay.